Hi, my name is Mike. I'm a personal trainer and fitness associate at Sequoia. Today I'm going to be showing you how to check your own heart rate. One reason I think this is important is because usually when you're at the gym, the treadmill or the elliptical has those sensors that will tell you your heart rate, but since we can't work out there, I think it's a good thing to know, and it's an easy way to check on your own if you're working in the yard or outside exercising. So I'll show you real fast. So we're going to use your radial artery on your wrist to check your pulse. So I'll show you here. So usually when you're exercising, your veins will pop a little bit more, but at rest, not as much. So if you're having a hard time finding it now, just wait till you're outside exercising. So you're gonna be looking for this radial artery that follows the lateral side of your wrist. An easy way to remember it is it's always gonna be on the same side as your thumb. You're just gonna take 2 fingers, press down on that artery, and you should be able to feel your heartbeat. You actually will be able to feel kind of the outside casing of the artery itself, so you'll know if it's on it. You're gonna hold that there. And one way to do it is to check a stopwatch or a timer on your phone and count how many pulses, how many beats you feel in 10 seconds. So let's say if I feel 16 beats in those 10 seconds, you're gonna multiply that by 6 to figure out how many beats you'll have in a minute. So say if I do it for 20, if I feel 20 beats in 10 seconds, that's 120 seconds, 120 beats. So my current heart rate would be at 120. So depending on what kind of activity you're looking to do, we'll tell you where you want your heart rate range to be. So I've written out here some of the American College of Sports Medicine guidelines of roughly where you want that number to be. So one way to calculate your estimated max heart rate is to take 220 minus your age. I'm 26 years old, so my estimated max heart rate would be 194. You're going to take that number, whatever it is for you, and you're going to use these percentages to figure out what your heart rate range should be based on light, moderate, and vigorous intensity. So light intensity is just 50 to 65% of your max heart rate. So if let's say it's 200, 100 to I think it's about 115 would be just a warm-up speed. Light's really not anything very challenging. You might feel a little bit of shortness of breath, but that's more of just if you're walking on a treadmill or walking outside at a normal pace, you're probably going to be within that light intensity range. Moderate intensity, 66 to 80% of your max heart rate. That's going to be, you're going to be working a little bit harder. You're probably going to be a little bit short of breath. Probably at this point, you're going to start to break a sweat. You're probably going to spend most of your time, or at least try to, in this range. If you can spend it more in the vigorous intensity, great. But for the most part, try to keep it like this for as long as you can. And then for vigorous, 81% to 95%. That's working it pretty much as hard as you can. And you probably won't be able to spend nearly as much time in the vigorous range as you will the moderate range, but any time in that range is good for you. It'll get your heart rate up, break a sweat, it'll burn the most calories. So even if you just do kind of intervals and go between moderate to vigorous and back and forth, that's good exercise. Using these numbers, so if you're at 200, so for vigorous exercise, we'll do the math, so you'd multiply that by 0.81, so 200 of 81% of 200 would be somewhere around like 160 to probably like 180, 185. That would be vigorous exercise. So you have to do a little bit of math to figure out the calculations, but at least that gives you some of a guideline of where you want your heart rate to be. And also it's a good tool to have if you're working outside, or if you feel maybe your heart rate's a little bit higher than it should be, you're able to check your pulse and see what it actually is, and know if it's maybe feels a little bit higher than it should be. A lot of the smartwatches or Fitbits will tell you your heart rate, but if let's say you don't have it on, or even sometimes if a little bit of sweat gets in between your skin and the sensor, it will sometimes mess it up every once in a while. So I think it's still a good tool to have. Everyone's ranges are going to be a little bit different for everybody. This formula is to estimate a max heart rate, so depending on your current conditioning levels, it will be a little bit different, but these are pretty good guidelines to follow, especially if you're just, for the time being, while the gym's closed, this is gives you a little bit more of an idea of where you want to be until we get back in. So thanks for watching. Hopefully you learned something. Try it out. It's real simple. I think it's a good skill to have. Thanks for watching. Bye.